All right, I'm here with Ed Croswell. I appreciate the time. I got to ask just, have you had an opportunity at all to kind of, reflect on this season, your PC career, your college career? Have you had that moment yet?
Uh, I had a couple of days to think about it, reflect, after we played Kentucky. Talking to my parents and my teammates and Coach Battle and all the coaching staff, just talking about how good of a season we had, what we could have done, where we could have finished that and stuff like that. I think we had a great year. There was a lot of things that weren't certain coming into this year. We had a full new group of guys, six start like basically six starters leaving, and so it was just it was just like we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how good we were going to be. We just knew we had a bunch of guys that were hungry and ready to take on the challenge of a difficult season.
Absolutely. And, that's kind of one of the reasons that even, I reached out to you. I feel like, and, it's the day and age we live in. It's just kind of the next thing. And, I feel like obviously with anytime there is a coaching change that can kind of take over, what was. And,
Mm-hmm.
you look at this year, you reached 1,000 points in your career. You averaged 13-7. You're, I believe, 17th in the nation in field goal percentage. Beyond playing time, what just allowed you to be so successful, so effective this year?
I think that what allowed me to be so successful was the time I put in the gym. You know, my confidence breeds from reps, repetition, constant reps, seeing on film, going to court, trying, gain reps. So I got them game reps the first 2 years here at Providence, and now at the first 2 years, I actually got the time to like go in the game, and just do it, just do it. That's all I was thinking this year. Just do what you work on, do what you work on. So the whole year I just had, complete confidence. I was I was the older guy on the team and so I had to play with confidence because I couldn't be the older guy in the vet playing, scary and shaky and stuff like that. So that's just that's the way how I thought of it and that's just the way how I saw it.
Definitely. And, you had mentioned being in the gym. I know I had the pleasure of obviously talking to Coach Battle every couple of weeks this season, and I remember one time he said, he almost bothered you how much time you're in the gym and he was working with you. But I know Cooley's a big part of it at all of all of it as well, but especially just Coach Battle, what he meant to you, a guy that, I mean, one of the best assistants in the game. I mean, he's brought in, we just were talking about it off air, so many guys, but just what he meant to you and your career at Providence.
Coach B brought me in, he mentored me. It was more than basketball. It was off the court, making sure I'm okay, talking to my family, you know, calling me, when he sees things wrong. He just really cared about you personally. And it make you want to go harder. Like you have somebody in your corner that cares for you when you're away from home. It just makes you want to go harder. And Coach B, like, man, I used to bug Coach B every day. Yo, Coach B, what you doing? Let's get in the gym. Calling them as soon as early crack in the morning, like, what you doing? What's your schedule today? And we just built that relationship. And, it was like fun to work out with him, fun to see what he had to do for me every day. Fun to see like how he challenged me to get better. It was like things that I appreciate, when I have bad games, would he tell me what I would do wrong? Like little things like that. I just appreciate him helping me grow as a basketball player and a man off the court.
Absolutely. And, is there a moment, or a game for you personally that you think will stick out or does stick out in terms of this season? I just look at, I feel like Providence was a part of not just the team, but the city was a part of two of the best Big East games this year in terms of, was it Marquette, Creighton, is there a moment for you that sticks out most?
Oh man, I would say I would say that momentum before that game. Us going on the road and beating Seton Hall on the road. Our first Big East test, and we were like the hungriest at that point of our season. I think that's when we started to figure out what we were going to do. And then going up from that game, we had to play Marquette after that, and we just went on the court and we just bought our butt off. We didn't care how high they were ranked. We didn't care what the circumstances was. We just went out there and played. The what was it like double overtime,
Yeah.
maybe triple overtime, something like that, and and we really had to claw it out. The crowd got into it. We helped. They helped us out a lot. The crowd just took over, and we just rode that energy to the end. We really fought a hard fought game out at the amp this year.
Definitely. And you had mentioned, going into this year. That's why, you look at the end, and obviously you never want to end the season at a loss. The fact that you guys made the NCAA tournament again, a great Big East record, finishing fifth. But you had mentioned obviously the uncertainty, starting this year, new guys. Specifically, you look at Carter and Hopkins, what they were able to kind of bring, maybe what casual fans don't see, but what they brought this year for you guys, and how they helped, on and off the floor.
So Carter and Hopkins, we had both of them honestly were playing to prove themselves, and that's one thing that's a start right there. So Hopkins was trying to prove himself that he was a big time player. He went to Kentucky. Dev came from the SEC. I think he made all rookie team, but he still had something to prove. So those two things right there was all off the bat was just a motivating thing, and they played with a different type of beat to them. They both played hard. Dev played. He's a defensive specialist. He's an on-ball pest, and he's going to get up in you. And offensively from Dev, he can hit threes. He can get downhill. He's ultra athletic. And then Bryce, he all Big East first team. He had an amazing year this year. I did not expect anything that he was going to do, and that's big time because I think that he just went out and played. Um, he just did his thing. Bryce just went out. He had a mismatch every time on the court. It was just amazing to see him develop as a player, and and play multiple games back to back, dropping numbers, and have that dog mentality to him. He's gonna be a special player in this league and and in the future in the NBA too. So I think that he just those are two unique players that I haven't seen in a Providence College uniform come in and be transfers and just dominate like that. It's just something special to see.
Definitely. And you mentioned, you look at your career, obviously, start at LaSalle, you're at Providence, but to be a part of now, I know you still got to finish the year, as a student, unless you already graduated, correct me if I'm wrong, but just to know that you're going to become part of this prestigious alumni of Providence. From the outside, I think Providence did such a great job in terms of kind of honoring and bringing back guys. But what does that mean to you to, not just wear the Providence jersey, but now to be someone that's going to be remembered and, kind of the joy that that's going to bring you being part of such a special group?
Coming here, I always wanted my name to be remembered. I always wanted to put my impact on this program. And being a part of a school that just has such great basketball tradition, we got the Rick Barnes and the Tinos. We have Lenny Wilkins that come through the school, all types of great players, David Duke, Chris Duns, Marshawn Brooks, all types of players that came out of this organization. And they're all a phone call away. And that's the good thing about it. Like, you can reach out to any one of them, have a connection with them. They have multiple connections around the whole world. And that's a bond that's not going to ever be broken, It's pride everywhere in college basketball, from high to low level. It's pride everywhere, next level, from the pros to the NBA. It's pride everywhere in the workforce. They're just everywhere, and it's a good family. It's a good family, good home base for a lot of people to come back to and call home.
Absolutely. And just two more questions. First, I had heard, and again, could be wrong, but that you were at, the press conference today. Obviously, this is a new chapter. I don't know. Have you, had any interaction with, Coach English, and kind of any kind of just first impressions on, again, obviously Cooley did so much for this program. Moving on is going to obviously, be difficult. I think the fan base was publicly having, therapy sessions, but just seeing Coach English there, what are your first impressions, and what he can do for the program?
Coach English is a very genuine coach. I've never seen a coach come out and play one-on-one against a basketball player before. That was different. You know, he reached out to all the guys, talking to them. And the main thing with me was like make sure my guys are straight. You know, my teammates are straight, and I feel like they're happy. You know, with the transition, and it was pretty smooth transition. Coach English been welcoming them in with open arms. I actually got to meet Coach English for the first time today, and you know, he's a good person. You know, I just told him like take care of my guys, and he told me I'll always be welcome back here. You know, once a fire, always a fire, and stuff like that. And he asked me whatever I needed, just call him and ask him. You know, so that I feel that genuineness from him, and I feel like Providence is gonna be in the good hands with him. He has a good work ethic, and I think that's gonna rub off on the players. You know, because he's hungry and he's young, and these guys on his team are young too, and they have a lot to prove, and that's good because that's just going to take the culture to another level and have the expectations higher because they're just going to be in the gym working all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, actually, he texted me this evening and said he was scared to play you though. He knew you'd body him, so you're good. You know, if you don't, I'm joking, but if you don't, if you don't play him, he'll never beat you. You know, so I would just stick with that because he's still got it.
I think everybody want to play him now on the team.
Exactly.
After the Pierre situation.
No doubt. So. Definitely. Awesome, man. And your last question, this is on PC related in a way. You know, you, like I said, transferring has become such a big part, obviously, of college basketball. I was just wondering for you, like when you thinking back when you went to LaSalle to Providence, how much is that as a player, right? How much is that similar to being recruited in high school, or what kind of being in the portal? What is that like? Just for because I have people asking all the time, and guys I talk to, I'm always interested. Like, what is your experience? What is that kind of month like in the portal?
When you put your name in the portal, it's kind of like a big uncertainty factor because like you have self-doubt. You don't know what's going to happen. So for me, what happened was I got calls from everybody in the country because I rebounded at a high level and I can finish around the basket. But for some people, it could go either way. You can get recruited a lot or you can get recruited a little bit. But now since COVID came around and all the guys coming in, you got JUCOs, you have high major players transferring, you have low major players transferring. Then you also got the college and prep school kids. So it's all these players trying to get on a roster at a school, and it's just so difficult to weed out the good players. Yeah. It's so difficult to get a spot on a good team that you want to. So some people have to take less and go somewhere. Some people don't get it in school at all and have to go back to JUCO that are already in college. So it's an interesting process. It's almost like basketball free agency. And that's what it's becoming like, especially with NIL and the money side of basketball that's becoming a part of college basketball now. So it's an interesting situation. From my experience, it was kind of like getting recruited all over again. Like coming into college, I had two offers, Ryder and LaSalle. Going from LaSalle to Providence, I had about 17 different schools, and it was just from high level all the way to high mid major. So it was a cool experience, but at the end of the day, you can only go to one school, and you better pick the right one.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Well, listen, Ed, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I know you'll be remembered for a very long time. I'll make sure I, over the next years, decades, I'll be pulling out those highlights. But I appreciate you. Time.
No problem.